Yo, what's good, everybody? What up, wrestling fans? It's your boy SBX coming to you once again with another wrestling video for you guys. And man, oh man, I have to say that Double or Nothing was a pretty decent pay-per-view event, because of the fact that it's a brand new brand and it made its first debut. It's still the early segment for wrestling. So, however, I just decided to do like I guess what you could say, what you will call it, a review from my perspective based on Double or Nothing. So, I really feel like the first thing I would want to talk about first is the, I don't know what you call it, a Battle Royale or the Royal Rumble type of, because it's the same concept of what New Japan will do. So, pretty much that's the kickoff match, and of course it started with having like a lot of people come in and wrestle, like for example, Billy Gunn, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, MGF, Joey Janela, which I'm really familiar with that guy because I've seen him wrestle in the Indies before. I'm surprised that WCW veteran Glacier made a debut, and I'm like, damn, he's still at it, Also, the late Brian Pillman's son, Brian Pillman Jr., made his debut. Tommy Dreamer, I thought he was going to stick to TNA or Impact Wrestling per se. MGF, who I look at him as the Miz 2.0 because he has that type of arrogance, this type of cockiness, this type of vindictive type of personality, like when the Miz is a heel. My guys, they from my city. I've seen them wrestle all the time in the Indies, but I'm happy for them that the Private Party made their first debut on AEW, and got to deal with them, which I'm happy for them because I told them that they was going to make it, and I gave them my full confidence and support, and I knew they can do it. As far as that goes, I was hoping that they will have more of a shine, but it's still the beginning. Also, I'm happy for Sonny Kiss to make a debut because I met him before, decent person. I will say that I'm glad that all these talents that came from my city and people who've been in the game for a long time are in AEW. So it's not as short as you think it is. And also I'm surprised that Ty Dillinger, aka Sean Spears, made a debut, and in fact I like his new gimmick better than the WWE Ty Dillinger look, and they really shitted on him a lot based on his talents and the booking for him. But I don't even know the guy with the no legs. He actually did the thing too, and I'm surprised that with that said and done, Dustin Thomas, that's his name. And it was a whole lot of wrestlers, basically. But I would have to say that in the end, I like the fact that the funny thing was Orange Cassidy. That shit was funny as hell. He was just doing these little light kicks. It really did no damage to Tommy Dreamer. Like, that shit was funny. And then Tommy Dreamer knocked his ass down and he got back up. And then he tried to do it again. That shit was funny as hell. Like, that was like, yo, what the fuck? But um, what I was gonna say was Adam Page. He pretty much did his thing. I mean, Adam Hangman Page. Um, he just he took the cake, you know, and when in the end it was like I really thought that MFJ was going to win that, but surprisingly enough, Hangman Page came back and took it. So the battle royal was pretty much just determined if whether or not somebody can have a number one contenders match for the AEW title shot. But however, they want to see if whether or not Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho could have a title shot for that belt. So if I had to rate that match, I would give it a B, because of the wrestlers who did their thing. Also the fact that Janela pretty much took a table fall, and that kind of like put the icing in the cake and things like that. So, and also all the old school wrestlers and the wrestlers who were in the indies, who are famous, actually took the liberty to be joined to AEW, and it was a really special event. So it was well played in my opinion, and all the characters did their thing. So next match will be Kip Sabian versus Sammy Guevara. Now this match I was not really interested in. Of course, with this type of match, it had to be like a kickoff, because ain't nobody taking that shit seriously. So I'm not knocking them. They did their thing, but it was not really the match of what's popping of the kickoff. So all I can say that in the end, I like how Saban pretty much need Guevara and did the Deathly Hollows, and then defeated Guevara on a 1-2-3 count. But in the beginning match, it was really fucking boring, to be honest. And you know, when I watch anything boring, I lose my attention span. Like, my mindset is just like, yo, a nigga who got ADHD. You know, you're not paying attention to shit. You moving around. That's what exactly that I was doing. I was moving around trying to find something, and I'm not really paying attention to the match, but I was hearing it. But I would just know that, yo, this match is boring as fuck. But the ending of the match with the Death Hollows by Saban, that's just the only thing that was good. So if anything, I would have to rate it as a D. No disrespect for the talent, but it could have been better. So the next match was a tag team match, which is SoCal versus Strong Hearts. Now with the Strong Hearts, it's like they're great. They're a great tag team, and also SoCal are a great tag team. But with SoCal, to be honest, I'm not really feeling the gimmick. I'm not feeling them as what their gimmick is, but I'm actually feeling how they work together. It's just the same way how I feel about New Day. I don't like New Day as their gimmick, but I definitely like them as like a team as far as the way that they work with each other. So with Scorpio Sky, Frankie Kazarian, and Christopher Daniels, they work together beautifully. They work well as a team. So that's why I cannot really not, shit on them. But it, like I said, it was a decent match. And in the end, Scorpio Sky actually pretty much ended well. And in the end of the day, it had to be a decent match. I rated a C because of like the lack of how the momentum in the match is, in my opinion. So to the next match, it would be basically Brittany Baker versus Smiley Kylie Ray, Nyla Rose. And then, and the funny thing is, I thought Brandy Rose was going to really get into the ring. And I'm like, Brandy is too damn fine to be wrestling like this. But the funny thing was when she said she wants something awesome, so we was thinking, what does she have in mind? But it made sense, you know. And I should have known. But I'm glad that my intentions was right, because I was thinking about Awesome Kong. I was like, it would have been cool if Awesome Kong would have joined AEW. And what happened? Shit happened! You know, that shit happened. So Awesome Kong made her first debut on AEW. And I'm surprised, because you have Nyla Rose, who's a big woman, and you have Awesome Kong, who's a veteran, who also is a big ass woman and is known for tossing and hurting bitches for a living. You know, I must say that this match was okay, but like for any wrestling division matches, Divas matches, it's just pretty short in my opinion. But it was good. And I say it was good is because of the fact that Awesome Kong made that debut. And also with Nyla Rose and Awesome Kong, how they clashed for a moment. But, you know, they're not going to give the big girls, like, the full attention based on these matches. So, I was hoping that Awesome Kong could have won the match. That was another L. It could have been an A+. If she did more, or it could have been even better if it was Awesome Kong tag teaming with Asia Kong, but I will get back to that part. But unfortunately, it had to be this way. But in the end, of course, Britt Baker pretty much won the match. So if anything, I give it a C in my opinion. Now the next match is Best Friends versus Angelico and Jack Evans. Now, with that match, I have to say, I had fun looking at this match. It was kind of funny and goofy, but the whole Best Friends gimmick, it was a little gay. The whole buddy, huggy type shit. I can't even take that seriously. I really never thought that, like, in my opinion, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta would do some shit like that. But it's all good in my opinion. You know, it's just, it's every, in my opinion, every gimmick is good or weird. But they make a great partners. They make great partners. But in the end, I would have to say that that match had to be rated, in my opinion, a C. The next one is like, damn, it reminds me of like a New Japan Pro, like not New Japan, but I would have to say it's more like an AEW, not AEW, it is AEW, but I'm sorry folks, I'm a little distracted. But World Wondering Stardom, that's what I was going to say, World Wondering Stardom type of vibe. Because you have females from Japan, like Hikaru Shida, Ryo Mizunami, and also Asia Kong, Yuka Shasazaki, and Emma Sakura were all there. They had a 6-woman tag team match. And of course, you know, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I usually pay attention to the Japanese wrestling, but I feel like it was not that bad, but it was not that good. So, of course, Hikaru Shida, Ryu, and Ryo Mizunami pretty much won the match, but I gotta give it a D, in my opinion. I mean, it could have been better, but it could have been worse. But the next match I have to say is the brotherly rivalry between Cody versus Dusty. And I have to say this is because I didn't really, at first, like I said, it's AEW. It's still the beginning. They could have took time to really make a good type of promo. But I guess they doing this is because of for Dustin's longevity of wrestling, and also honoring their late father, Dusty Rhodes. And with that match, let me say out in the beginning where with Cody using that sledgehammer and hitting it to the throne that looks like something that Triple H was pretty much always sitting on every WrestleMania event or whatnot. So in my opinion, I asked myself, is Cody actually dissing the WWE? Is he throwing a lot of shade on Vince? Is he saying fuck Triple H? What is it saying? It sounds like he's giving some type of subliminal message towards the WWE. But I knew that was bound to happen because, with Triple H is the CEO of WWE, and Vince McMahon is pretty much, doing some bullshit with his talent. And also what he did to Cody Rhodes when he was wrestling in the WWE, kind of like he didn't give him the push that he deserved. So I kind of thought maybe it's some type of message toward WWE saying like, yo, who's the bitch now type shit. So anyways, to the match with Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes. I would have to say that match took a lot of emotion out of, like, the fact that Cody pretty much whooped ass in the end, and Dustin pretty much was bleeding constantly, and that match was really, really triumphant. Like, this is what I mean. Like, whenever it's like former friends versus friend or sibling rivalry, like, it needs to be triumphant. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean by that, And to be, I think at the end when Cody beat Dustin, it was kind of like, Cody felt emotional, showed him love, and, everybody was feeling some type of way about it. So, at the end of the day, with that match, with a heart-fulfillment moment, and he claimed that he needed his brother before to engage in emotional type of, like, perspective. I feel like this match pretty much was made pretty well, and I give it an A in my opinion. And the shockingly enough was Bret the Hitman Hart pretty much introduced the AEW championship belt, which was cool. And all of a sudden MGF kind of like interrupted the whole, moment like an asshole, like anybody. And then it's funny how Jungle Boy, Havoc, and Adam Page came and just whooped ass and whatever. And like I said, Bret Hart was just trying to introduce the belt, and it's and I have to say that it's a nice belt. It's better than the fucking 24/7 fucking belt that WWE did when Mick Foley pretty much introduced the belt. So I kind of think maybe it's the same way. Like, okay, WWE is giving you a shitty ass belt, and everybody was fighting for the belt like idiots, and you have AEW doing the same, where they have a beautiful, better belt and it's a world heavyweight championship belt, and on top of that, it's kind of like, you know, except nobody won the belt yet, so it's just, you know, Adam Page is pretty much is the number one contender for the belt, the first person who's a contender. So I was surprised that Bret Hart pretty much appeared. And I thought that maybe WWE would have been a little bit pissed off that he joined, but it's not like he's wrestling for them. So, I mean, safe to say, Bret can do whatever the fuck he wants. So let's get back to the matches again. And I have to say, with the next tag match will be the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers. Now, with that match, I will have to say that this match was better than the SoCal versus the Stronghearts match. I have to say that it's because you have the best high flyers, the best wrestlers of all time, the Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers like Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr. You know, those guys were, every time I watched them guys, they were whooping ass. And they, like with this one, where the Young Bucks was trying to defend the AAA World Tag Belts, you know, and that's a Mexican wrestling promotion, AAA. I really say that, in my opinion, I've never really expected the fact that the Young Bucks will retain that belt, you know, and also I was hoping that the Lucha Brothers would pretty much won the belt, because I mean, let's be real, AAA is a Mexican wrestling promotion and the Lucha Brothers are Mexican. But my thing is, it's like the Young Bucks are not ready to lose that belt yet, you know, and I think that's fine, you know. But the match itself was amazing. I had never thought that I had fun watching that match, because Nick and Matt Jackson were doing the damn thing, even though they had their little fuck ups in a minute, accidentally hurting each other, which it was funny. Every time Pentagon and Rey Fenix were confusing them with the hits, but it was cool. And I feel like at the end, the Young Bucks had to do it. Like, Matt's arm was kind of fucked up. He was trying to hold on to do that pile driver. And at the end, they had to end it with the Meltzer driver. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to end like that. That is perfect way to win. The Young Bucks to win was to hit the Meltzer driver on Phoenix and just finish the match. That, I have to say, I have to clap on that. That was the best tag match ever. I give that shit an A+++, because that's what I wanted in the Young Buck versus the Lucha Brothers match, you know. So that's all good and gravy on my part. And last and not fucking least is, man, just like I was watching New Japan a year ago, but man, Alpha versus Omega Part 2. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. Two of the best Canadian wrestlers of all time. Well, Chris is kind of like half Canadian, but the point is, they're Canadian. I have to say that, you know, I was surprised that Chris Jericho actually had the light up code, which I thought that's for only WWE's purposes only, because I really feel like, in my opinion, Chris Jericho, ever since he part ways with the WWE and actually took the liberty to wrestle in New Japan for a little bit, the alpha version, I think that is way better than when he was in the WWE doing. The only game I only liked was the early 2000s Chris Jericho, and You Made the List, because the list thing was funny as hell. But to me, when Chris Jericho is in AEW or New Japan, I think his gimmicks is a lot better. Like, he grew his hair back longer. He doesn't have this Ellen DeGeneres type look anymore. I think that this gimmick for Chris Jericho as a heel is a better look. The alpha version is way better than any gimmick that I've ever managed to like. But with that said and done, in Kenny Omega's match, it was good. You know, Chris Jericho pretty much made Kenny Omega's nose bleed, and I like how he did the lion salt on Kenny Omega's head, and he keep on doing it. And you know, when Kenny Omega cannot do the one wing angel on him multiple times, that means Kenny's gonna lose. Because I mean, let's just be real. Because when he was facing Okada a few times at mostly whatever Wrestle Kingdom or whatever, and he cannot beat Okada, it's the same concept. If Chris Jericho is keep on trying to like dodge the one wing angel, that means Kenny is not going to win. That's just my wrestle knowledge. That's just any knowledge if somebody cannot do the finisher properly. So I like the fact that, you know, Kenny got crashed through the table. I was hoping, to be honest, the Alpha versus Omega match, in my opinion, was a lot better than this match. It could have been better, but of course Chris Jericho won. Of course, you know, with not only with the code breaker but the Judas effect. I believe that's what it's called. You know, a struck to the elbow. Yeah, that's exactly what it's called, the Judas effect. I mean, I just thought it would have been cool if he just ended with the code breaker or just submission him to the walls of Jericho. That would have been a lot more better, in my opinion. But to each his own. But what I would say that what really got the match better was when, in my opinion, when, of course, Dean Ambrose, aka Jon Moxley, pretty much made a debut on AEW, and everybody was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, whoa, dude, whoa, Jon Moxley. So I was really surprised. Like, I knew, like, I mean, that was really fucking obvious that he was going to AEW. He made that fucking promo, and his contract was up from WWE's perspective, and he didn't want to be in WWE no more. So we already know that he was going to AEW, and he still had this lunatic fringe type of persona, but a different fucking name, you know. So honestly, that had to shine with the match, because at the end he did the dirty deeds on Chris Jericho. He did the dirty deeds on the referee. He tried to do it on Kenny Omega, but they was duking it out, you know. And then they was fighting backstage, and you know, Kenny Omega tried to defend himself, but Dean Ambrose got the best of him and pretty much did the dirty deeds on Kenny Omega on top of the poker chip. And not only that, he pretty much did a slide slam, crashing Kenny Omega down to some, I don't know what it is, a table or some type of glass. I don't know what that shit was, but he put him down, all the way down. So that pretty much made a great ending to the whole, you know, main event match, because of the fact that AEW pretty much surprised us with Jon Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose. So, if all said and done, what I would say about AEW, how the way that they're promoting their match, was the fact that it feels like a New Japan of of America. You know, it has this New Japan kind of vibe where they had the battle royale kind of like New Japan. We have more American wrestlers than Japanese wrestlers. Just like in New Japan, they got more Japanese wrestlers than foreign American. I mean, foreign. It doesn't have to be American, but just American, Canadian, British, and all that. So this is like New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is nothing similar like WCW. Ain't no crazy pyro, no Eric Bischoff, no nothing. It's more like New Japan, or it's like New Japan and Ring of Honor, like 20% Ring of Honor, but more of a New Japan type of vibe. You know what I mean? So, cause like I said, Cody, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman, and most of the people came from the New Japan type of outlet, if you know what I mean. So I really I had like half and half mixed feelings if it could have been like WCW, but it's so early to say it's gonna be like it because it's just a brand new company. It's a brand new brand of wrestling. So what AEW is trying to do is they trying to bring something a little bit more authentic to their style. They're not trying to be like WWE. They're not trying to be like WCW or ECW or Impact Wrestling or Dragon Gate Wrestling. It's more on a facade based on how what would look like if New Japan Pro Wrestling was more Americanized. It's more westernized. It's just pretty much AEW is westernized New Japan Pro Wrestling in my intake. So I have to say the whole event, I'll give it a B. I wish it could have been an A because some of the matches were good, but it could have been better. But the only matches kind of like was great was pretty much the Young Bucks, the Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho match, and the 20-man Battle Royal or whatever it is. That's the only matches were good. But also where Pac, aka Neville, fucked it up and ghosting on AEW just like he was ghosting on 205 the WWE. That kind of led a disappointment because Neville kind of fucked that up on his part. It could have been better if he would have stick to AEW because he, like I said, he fucked it up. Pac, Neville, whatever you want to say, he is known for ghosting a lot, you know. But people kind of expected that CM Punk or Goldberg. No, CM Punk is not coming to AEW anytime soon. Goldberg is not coming to AEW anytime soon. I like I said, all I can predict was they can bring certain people into AEW that deserves it. Not even Sasha Banks joined. You know, and Sasha Banks could have joined AEW if she wanted to, but she's on pretty much, Vince McMahon is still pimping her ass in the WWE like, bitch, you're not going nowhere. So this is what we're getting for now. But in the future, I'm sure that AEW is going to do something better, and I'm sure that AEW is going to do something that may not be good. But for the most part, AEW was a great pay-per-view event. AEW was worth watching. And it's like just like any promotion, rather if it's in the indies, rather if it's NXT, rather if it's Impact Wrestling, rather if it's Ring of Honor, and damn straight, rather if it's New Japan or Dragon Gate Wrestling, this is pretty much AEW, just like any of these promotions, is worth watching than fucking what the bullshit that we're watching on WWE. You know, and this is a message to Vince McMahon like, yo, you know, this is what wrestling should be about. So if it's about competition, then, you know, let it be on his karma. If it's gonna be something different, then, you know, Vince doesn't have nothing to worry about. But even say that in the end, with whatever wrestling brand, they would rather just be something more unique and show something that is a lot different compared to what wrestling had to offer these last few decades, you know. But honestly, I see myself watching AEW for a little while on the next pay-per-view event, and then when the time that TNT is going to release AEW to the spot. So it's still early, folks, but I will say that I enjoy watching Double or Nothing. So anyways, folks, I'm done here. I know it's a long video. I pretty much wanted to explain and express how I feel about AEW because I've been talking about this for a long time, and it's been a long time coming, folks. So like I said, folks, I'm going to have to wrap this up. Please leave your comments on the comment sections below. How you feel about AEW Double or Nothing. How you feel about all these wrestlers doing their thing. How you feel about everything. Please leave your comments down. Leave it on the comment sections below. Make sure you hit that bell icon and subscribe to my channel. Until then, folks, SBX wrapping this shit up. Thanks for watching. Peace out.